Hello, welcome all of you to this issue of Science Magazine. India had successfully landed its Chandrayaan 3 Vikram lander on the lunar South Polar region on 23rd of August 2023. To commemorate this feat, every year 23rd of August has been declared as National Space Day by the Government of India. In this connection, on August 9, 2024, at the National Institute of Disaster Management, New Delhi, a pre-event workshop was organized by NIDM in collaboration with the National Disaster Management Authority, Ministry of Home Affairs and National Remote Sensing Center. In a technical session on disaster management and space technology, Dr. K.H.V. Durga Rao, Group Director, DMS, National Remote Sensing Center, ISRO, spoke on role of space technology in disaster management.
Keeping advantage of synoptical coverage, remote sensing data of the Earth and its temporal and spatial frequencies, ISRO has launched disaster management program. The main objectives of the disaster management program is imaging the Earth, monitoring the all natural disasters in all phases of the disasters and do the damage assessment, flood early warning for some selected rivers and landslide early warning, and national database for emergency management and capacity building, and our international commitments, particularly through Sentinel Asia and International Charter. So in the event of major disasters, we activate International Charter because we have very limited satellites, Indian remote sensing satellites. In India, a lot of disasters. For example, today, if you look at 5-6 states are affected by the floods. So difficult to monitor all the disasters using the existing satellites. Through International Charter, we get the data, and we also provide our remote sensing data to them in the event of disasters in those countries. So we liaison with mainly Ministry of Home Affairs, NDMA, state disaster management organizations, etc. And in capacity building activities, we work with NADM. The main objective of this disaster management program is to provide space inputs in near real time, addressing all natural disasters in all phases of the disasters like floods, cyclones, forest fires, lightning, glacier lake, outburst, etc. So how we are addressing these in all phases. To monitor the disasters across the country, we need very strong space assets. We have different type of satellites like in optical region, in microwave region. They occur in monsoon period, difficult to get optical satellite data because of cloudy conditions. We have to depend on all weather satellites like microwave RISat, our Indian remote sensing satellite, and other Sentinel-1 and other foreign satellites data. And optical data is mostly required, high resolution optical data is required for damage assessment purpose. We have some meteorological satellites that will give support to Indian Meteorological Department and further studies also. In the case of major disasters like tsunami or Hudud cyclone, that type of things, when other data is not available, we fly and we acquire the data. The aircrafts are used for digital terrain model map. So this data is used in all the natural disasters. First, coming to the floods, which are the major disasters in the country, in near real-time monitoring and mapping of the flood. How we do it, I'll explain in 10 seconds. We have automated disaster watch mechanism. Okay, completely it is automated using AI techniques. Whenever there is a disaster, so using print media and social media and services from the forecasting organization like Central Water Commission, IMD, etc. and meteorological satellite information also, and we disseminate it. So once we foresee any disaster, immediately we acquire satellite data. First, Indian remote sensing satellite data. If it is not available, free data. Sometimes we will buy. If it is major disaster, we will activate international. And we analyze the satellite data. And once we analyze, once we prepare flood maps, we integrate socio-economic data and geospatial data like village layers, roads, railway network, point of interest data like relief shelters, rescue shelters, health centers, etc. And we disseminate through email to the concerned organizations and through our national database for emergency management geo portal also in real time. So this process we complete within 3 to 4 hours turnaround time after getting the satellite data. Flood this year started with Remal cyclone struck the eastern part of the India. So Calcutta and eastern states are affected, provided the information. And Assam is affected by the floods. Rare event you will get optical data without cloud conditions. And Kerala floods, we provided a lot of value added information also, like damage due to the flood. Last year there was a Himachal. You can see a lot of houses are washed off after the flood. Some bridges also got washed off. If a village is affected by the flood for one day, if it is affected affected by the flood for 15 days, the damage will be different. So when we cover continuously monitor using satellite data, we prepare duration of the flood maps also. Each village for how many days under flooding. And this year onwards, we are giving product using modeling techniques, flood depth maps also. For 1 week event or 2 weeks event during the flood, what is the depth of flooding? That is also important for risk assessment. If your house is in flooding, if flood depth is 1 feet, the damage will be different. So it is also very vital information.
Ms. Jivisha Joshi Gangopadhyay, Deputy Secretary, the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, highlighted the PM Gati Shakti framework for disaster risk reduction.
PM Gati Shakti, which is being used at national, state and now at district level for planning in various ways for infrastructure. The idea is that we all know that we have been looking for infrastructure development in country, and we have been seeing as and whenever we have any kind of disaster in the country, it's very important that whatever infrastructure is being created in the country, they are well equipped with the important and incorporate the designs which can handle disasters. So PM Gati Shakti was launched in 2021, and at that time we decided that we need to have a more integrated approach towards planning so that all the players can come together on one platform and we deliver a product as an outcome and not a project as an outcome when we do any kind of planning in the country. The idea was to have integrated planning for multimodal infrastructure, have last mile connectivity to reduce the logistic cost and ensures the seamless movement of people and goods in the country. What we are trying to do in PM Gati Shakti is to have whole of government approach. It has got two parts. We have a GIS based portal which has almost 1500 layers in the country, and these are both from center as well as state. So there are around 550 plus layers in center, 850 plus layer in the states, and one layer, for example, is the complete road network, another is the length of complete railway network, so on and so forth. We also have underground utilities, so we have OFC cable network mapped as well. And since we moved from centers to state, we've also incorporated 32 unique layers each state, plus an additional of any information that states think is required for planning in their state. To have this GIS based portal operational, we also came up with an institutional structure. The most important part is the network planning group. There is a general guideline which is issued by the Ministry of Finance in our country, which says that if there is any infrastructure project which is above 500 crore rupees, then it has to go via the procedure of appraisal through network planning group. Now, what does the network planning group do? As you see, the third layer, technical support unit, which resides with my ministry, DPIIT in Commerce and Industry. Whenever any project comes to us, this technical support unit, where we have experts in subject matter with 14 different fields, sit together, do an analysis over this GIS based portal. We try to generate all the possible intersections, all the possible clearances, all the things which might have been looked over because the project has been developed by one ministry. To give an example, maybe if you are planning a railway line, the Ministry of Railways focus will be to connect point A to B, but there can be a lot of area of interest in the nearby area. So for example, there can be a national highway which is coming nearby, but we have not planned the last mile connectivity to major goods stations. So passenger stations are addressed for, but goods stations are very important because these are the sidings, these are the places from where even truck can get loaded on the train. At the same time, we can also look at things like nearest industrial town, whether we have a last mile connectivity with the train or is it just connecting this point A to point B. So more spur planning can be done accordingly. So these are the common inputs which are given by the technical support unit, and network planning group sits every 15th day. We have had more than 70 meetings in past 3 years where we also take special meetings, but a minimum of once every 15 days where all the infrastructure projects are discussed and debated across a table using this GIS-based technology.
Ms. Sri Lakshmi, Head ED DSD, National Remote Sensing Center, ISRO, said about National Database for Emergency Management and ICRER.
There are the basic three main objectives of NDM is concerned. First, we have to integrate the GIS-based data for entire country in single platform. It's a generic database to cater to the natural disasters as well as man-made disasters also. And to disseminate, we need to have an infrastructure. We have already developed the infrastructure at NRSC Shadnagar. In near future, internal security as well as the disaster management is concerned. So with respect to this, NDM is going to have a dual portion. One is it is going to act as a DR site as well as, and at the same time it will going to share the near real-time satellite data. The latest version of NDM 5 is launched recently last month on 28th June 2024 with the latest enhanced features. It is not only limited to state disaster management officials, so there are various monitoring departments are there, forecasting departments are there where do they share the data and at the same access the portal also. So all the relief and rescue operations are there like SDRF, NDRF. We have customized our portal to suit the requirements of NDRF officials also. The moment if you type the URL ndm.nrsc.gov.in, it is a combination of a disaster scenario on a particular day. So it is a combination of observed data on the particular day, whether it is a rainfall or is a temperature or any flood occurrence is there, and at the same time, what are all the alerts and warnings that is given by the forecasting organizations, whether it is a Central Water Commission about the flood, or it is cyclone alert from the IMD, or it is avalanche alert from the DGRE. So all these forecasting organizations, they are sharing the data with NRSC ISRO in near real time through APS. So all this information is integrated and it is hosted in a single platform. So at any given point in time, it will give you the current day disaster scenario on this portal. If I give you the examples, in the total services are organized in the 3 phases. One is response phase, mitigation phase, and in the early warning phase. In the response phase, suppose NRSC has produced the near real-time flood maps. So within no time, all these maps are available onto the portal. So user can directly see up to village level where it got inundated and how much of population got affected, how much area got inundated. With the statistics, you will be able to visualize this portal. So you do not require any other software is required. PC with the internet connection is sufficient for visualizing all these disaster specific layers. So up to 17 zoom levels from state level to street level, you can visualize the data. Vector data as well as raster data. Apart from that, we do have near real-time forest fire alerts daily in summer season from March to, I can say, February to July. So what are all the hotspots of the forest fires? Within a turnaround time of 30 minutes to 60 minutes, it will be made available onto the portal. So one can click. At the same time, the SMS alert goes to the beat officer also. If in case of any large duration forest fires are there in particular location, so this will be useful for stopping the further spread of the particular event. So in the early warning, this is a special flood early warning for Godavari and Tapi. Within 36 hours of prior intimation, one can find out where the flooding is going to happen, how many villages are going to be affected, and within each village is also what kind of inundation, is it totally inundated or partially inundated, that kind of information. Similarly, Pan-India runoff, the current day scenario, what is the forecast for the next day, 2 days, and landslide early warning is planned for the 9 pilgrimage routes in the north and northeastern. Immediately, you will be able to know what is the situation. It is basically the main input for is this the rainfall. In the mitigation says we are having flood hazard zonation atlases are there for 6 states, and all India flood affected atlas is also available. So we are having flood risk vulnerability, 2-3 states on an experimental basis we have done it. And the glacial lake more than 0.25 hectares. All these glacial lakes we visualized on the portal, and the associated attributes also can be viewed. So we are having landslide hazard data, landslide inventory also is available, and forest fire vulnerability. All this hazard and vulnerability maps is a main asset for the disaster management officials.
Shri Rajesh Kumar, DC, IT and Communication, National Disaster Response Force.
NECP is its country's roadmap for ensuring emergency communications and interoperability between different agencies of government at all levels. And it aims to preserve and enhance the emergency communication during any exigency or any calamity. It sets strategic goals and identifies national objectives to enhance governance, planning, technology, training, exercises, and disaster communications capabilities. It focuses on last mile connectivity to the communities in case of any disasters.
And now about the world of science. A recent study has revealed that tropical glaciers in the Andes mountain of Colombia, Peru, and Bolivia have shrunk to their smallest size in over 11,700 years, making an unprecedented retreat since the onset of the Holocene epoch. This alarming discovery underscores the impact of rising global temperatures on glacial retreat, particularly in tropical regions where seasonal temperature variations are minimal. In a groundbreaking discovery, geophysicists have identified a massive underground reservoir of liquid water on Mars. This discovery offers new insights into the fate of Mars water, which vanished from the surface over 3 billion years ago. However, the reservoir is located deep within the Martian crust. Using seismic data from NASA's InSight lander, scientists estimate that this reservoir could cover Mars to a depth of 11.5 and 20 kilometers below the surface, making it inaccessible for future Mars colonists. The water is trapped in tiny cracks and pores within fractured igneous rock similar to Earth's granite formations. Despite the challenges in accessing this water, the finding provides a promising target for future exploration in the search for life on Mars. With this issue of Science magazine ends. Reading voice Nisha Bharadwaj and presenter was Dilip Jha. This broadcast came to you from the Indraprastha channel of Akashvani, Delhi.